I'm Oxnard.
I'm Dexter.
And we just saw Godzilla 2014 movie in theaters, IMAX 3D.
Yep.
I have some stuff to say, but I want to hear what you have to say first. So feel free,
right.
Dexter,
Well,
to go.
Well, initially, had a major problem was there was a horrible kid sitting behind us. I think that may have ruined the movie for me entirely.
Once again, this happened with the Superman movie.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was a kid behind me. He didn't say anything, but he was just constantly tapping his foot against my seat.
Yeah.
So here we have another scenario with a kid and his father. The father, throughout the movie, it was really weird because the kid would ask such dumb questions.
Horribly dumb question. I mean, this kid was the dumbest. I wanted to turn around and be like, can you, please keep quiet or something? Because I really felt like it was ruining the movie for me right from the beginning. All these powerful kind of scenes with Bryan Cranston being very emotional, and then the kid's going like,
What's he doing?
He's sad. Why? What happened? You
And then
just saw what happened.
The father was saying like, "Oh, shh, be quiet," but then half the time he was answering the kid's questions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, either tell the kid to shut up, or just be a loud, annoying guy.
Yeah.
Pick one side because it was confusing me.
Yeah, I didn't. And then I was like, oh, okay, I can't say anything because this kid was asking such dumb questions that I was going to turn around and say something, and I'd find out the kid was had Down syndrome or something, and I was going to look like a monster.
All right. Well, you are a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So aside from that,
Anyway, God, that horrible kid. I thought the movie was okay overall. I was a little disappointed. I thought it was a little too blockbuster kind of film for me. I was hoping that they were going to kind of do something awesome, it was going to be a big kind of typical blockbuster movie. It could have been that, but they were going to go in a little bit of a different direction with it. It was going to be a lot more intense and dramatic, and emotionally powerful than what it was.
Well,
so that was a little disappointing. That was my hope because the preview is super intense and creepy and would give me goosebumps.
the great preview with they're doing the dive and they're
And that was
they did in the
my
movie.
favorite part of the movie was the Halo jump.
Yeah, but
with
that wasn't
song.
the same. The song in the trailer was much more prominent. In the movie,
It
they kind
was.
of downed it down a little bit, which I
Yeah.
don't know why. If you're going to use it because that's
Yeah.
such a great song that just
Oh,
hits
man.
you with so much fear. Like in 2001, when you see the monolith, you're just
Yeah,
oh god,
frozen.
yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't really a lot of intense, and then I found a lot of parts, a lot of moments. I just felt like, okay, let's go, let's move along, and then it just kind of dragged for me a little bit. And there was a lot of we talked about this on the car ride home. There was a lot of staring off into the distance, and then they kept using this one tactic where, and we've talked about this with Game of Thrones, even where. You're looking around, it's a close-up on the guy, and then as soon as they turn in the other direction, then something attacks them out of nowhere. This was, crazy noises, screaming, and then silence. And then everybody's looking around, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, ah! And then crash.
There
that
are
happened
a lot of moments,
5 times.
There are a lot of moments where things are very silent, and you're like, I don't understand how. When they at the very end where the guy's tired, and we'll get into the main character.
Yeah.
There's a nuclear bomb going off. And he's not. All you just hear is
Yeah.
that's the most. That blows people's eardrums out.
Yeah. He's lucky he didn't turn around and actually look at it. What's going on? My eyes.
Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I was really afraid it was going to just be stupid Michael Bay kind of shit.
Yeah, Michael Bay-esque. Whoa.
Okay, before we get into that, there were 67 trailers.
I've never seen so many previews in a movie.
This. It was getting to the point of this is a joke. They at one point in the trailers they said put your 3D glasses on. Okay. After that trailer's done, take your 3D glasses off. How about this? Save that trailer for the very end. So
Yes.
Because here's the thing, I wear glasses and I have to fit the 3D glasses over my glasses, and that takes
Me too.
20 seconds. I don't know why I had to adjust it, and if I'm not comfortable because I'm looking through
and
two
you're lucky
lenses.
because your frames are a lot smaller
I was
than
gonna ask
mine.
you have bigger frames,
Yeah.
so how does that work?
It was horrible.
Maybe that's another. Maybe we should have saw this not in 3D.
Maybe because we would have been in a theater where no one else was.
Yeah.
No children around asking dumb ass questions. Oh my god.
Well,
they rest on the end of my nose. the 3D
Okay, I
glasses.
didn't even- I was- I
because
should've
there's
taken a
no way
look.
because my frames are like
But
are
horrible.
large.
There were Interstellar. That was the new trailer. That
looked awesome.
That looked excellent, and that looks like I thought it was going to be one thing, but now this looks like it almost looks like an alternate universe thing because I'm like, how is this technology? Why is this guy in his backyard making a spaceship? Like, what's going on here? Even there was this weird shot. It almost looked like
there was like this weird
circular-
what's it from? It reminded me of something. I can't remember the movie or the show that it's
and it
from.
definitely
But
looked
it
like
was
there's a
like,
black hole there because you see the distortion around some.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought it was like some object that was reflecting light around it, and it
Yeah.
was like some spherical object.
'Cause
But
the
yeah,
way,
it's,
black
and he's
holes-
basically going off in Matthew McConaughey in space.
Hey,
Hey
I'll
man,
watch it.
all right, traveling through space.
Yes, that's how black holes work. When you, that's the only way we can detect them is when you see in space. Oh, there was
Right.
a star there, and now that star looks warped. Now it's gone. That's because a black hole just passed through it.
Wow.
And I think they discovered one that was pretty close. And,
But then Stephen Hawking said that there's no such thing as black holes, debunking
Yes,
his entire life's work.
yeah, he also just said recently that I forget the article, but he said the biggest mistake humanity's ever done is the concept of artificial intelligence. He said that's. I think what's going to destroy it, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Okay, Godzilla. After all these trailers,
We'll get to robot murders
Michael
later.
Bay trailer.
Oh,
this
another
trailer,
Transformer movie.
Angelina Jolie is apparently the witch from Sleeping
Oh,
Beauty.
also, at least 4 trailers that we saw involved a shot where a car is driving by cornfields.
Cornfields.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
And there was Tom Cruise in a mech suit.
Oh,
I
that
don't know-
Wachowski brothers movie looks. Channing Tatum is like some kind of elf alien person.
Oh yeah, that's the other.
And
first I was like, this is really stupid, but then I was like, oh, Wachowski
Sean
brothers.
Bean is like, oh look,
Sean Bean
look
is
at
there.
her, she has bees around her, Your Majesty.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it's like this movie. What
That
is
was
going
Mila
on?
Kunis. Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis. Yeah, how do you say
Meg.
it? Mila?
Shut
yeah,
up, Meg.
Yeah, we know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or you know who we're talking about. We don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah. So anyway, movie starts.
Oh, finally.
Bryan Cranston, I think, was the best thing. I mean, aside from Godzilla and the monsters, which I'll get to. His performance was
Humans.
excellent.
Yeah.
And before we go on, massive spoilers.
We already spoiled the end about the atomic bomb going off, but
Well, it's Godzilla, so you
yeah.
expect an atomic bomb in there somewhere.
That's true.
And you're dealing
But
with the
anyway, yeah, this
every
is-
sci-fi movie with the military against some massive threat, they always like that's the last.
we got to
resort.
nuke it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the War of the Worlds, like bombs. bam,
Independence
Godzilla.
Day.
It does nothing against them. Yeah, Independence Day. There's always nukes, and they always fail.
And there's always somebody saying, "Don't do this."
Yes. So Bryan Cranston, I think he does a really good performance. Now I'm definitely going to watch Breaking Bad. I know I'm really late to the game, but I have to.
No, I can't believe
to
you
watch
haven't
it.
watched that. Oh my God! You
Well,
think
I've
he's
been
good
watching
at
all
this?
my favorite scenes from Seinfeld, but he's the dentist,
Yes, Tim Watley.
Tim Watley.
Give me a shtickle of fluoride.
And the spoiler is he dies about.
Oh, half hour in, right?
No, I don't even.
Or maybe shorter?
No. It's about. I think it's like midway through the movie.
Oh,
It's
is it?
like-
I don't know. I lost track because there was so much. There was so much going on before Godzilla even appears.
I was having a stroke.
No, my text message sound is Mega Man.
Yes, I was like, is Mega Man about to kill me?
Yeah, he's like when you enter the level.
Yes.
So yeah.
He works in Japan. He has a wife and family there. He works at a nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
And he's been detecting all these weird tremors, which at first I thought it was.
Set up a meeting.
Yeah, at first I thought it was going to be like, oh, that's Godzilla's heartbeat. So Godzilla's been like hibernating or something, so he's slowly coming back because it's getting stronger and stronger. It's more. They did something which I liked. They started introducing this concept of this other monster.
Yeah.
Which is apparently the male.
Right.
And then in Nevada.
So what happened was
in
in Nevada, in Yucca Mountain or Yucca Mountain,
And then
that's actually where they actually house like all these radioactive waste materials. And
now
everything.
I thought from the trailers it was going to be like Rodan. Rodan was the flying one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so I guess they kind of did that, but it's like a new version.
I actually saw. I thought it was a Mothra thing because
It had that type of Mothra kind of story because with the eggs and stuff. Her
exactly,
big
and
throbbing
also
ball sack.
oh man,
Yeah,
yeah,
which is a
that
weird
was a
shot.
descended egg sack, man. Wow, jiggly.
I was like, this is PG. Like, and I also thought they were
Also, that dumbass kid was behind us.
yes, and I was like, this is kind of weird.
This is awkward watching this egg sack move about this kid behind my head.
I was like, are they going to show these two things mating later on?
They almost did, I thought, because he flew around her, and I was like, oh, he's going to mount. But that never happened. He flew away.
They implied it.
But there was a cool thing, too, when they go back after this. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but there is a moment where you see this, like, bug tank, like, at their old house, at Bryan Cranston's old house.
Yes.
After this incident occurs, initially in the beginning of the movie. And something has, like, broken, and it spells out Mothra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You see, like, is this moth, and then, like, something broken was in front of it, and there's, like, a R.A. after it. So you can see that, like, when they're in, like, the remnants of their old home. But anyway, I wanted to let you know that, because I didn't know if you'd picked up on it.
No, I didn't. I completely missed it.
Yeah.
This nuclear reactors falling apart, everything, and this whole area where they used to live, Bryan Cranston's family, has been closed off. They're saying there's radiation.
Yeah.
Turns out they go there.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, you see his
totally
son
clean.
when he's a little kid, and he goes up to school, and it's his dad's birthday. And apparently he was so obsessed with what the hell these tremors are that he forgets it's his birthday. And then later on in life, he's becoming like a... And she says it in the beginning of the movie. She's like, you're a maniac. He's like, I know I'm a maniac.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, but a good maniac, you know?
Yeah, a good maniac.
And, and
then the kid grows up. He joins the Navy.
Yeah, well, did we say that she dies?
She's dead.
So at the incident, which I thought was Godzilla.
Yes.
Because...
essentially...
Well, at the Philippines, Ken Watanabe... We're all over the place here. Ken Watanabe...
we have welcome to ADD. Review of Godzilla.
Yeah, welcome to two guys with ADD talk about a movie they just watched.
Hey, you like bread? You know what's awesome? Grilled cheese.
Oh, God. Bacon.
Yes.
So it's 1999. This takes place in 1999, by the way.
Yes.
And first, before that, it's Ken Watanabe and his companion, science companion.
Yes.
They're in the Philippines, and these miners discovered something, but there was an accident, and all of a sudden the floor gives out, and it's like this huge cavern that goes down really, really deep. And then they find these cocoons, right? First they find these super huge skeletons.
Yeah.
Then they find these cocoons. One is dormant, but it's like still intact, it's not fossilized. But there's no activity from it, seemingly. And the other one is, like, opened. And then they find, like, this huge trail going out, and it leads right to the sea. And then they then they go into Bryan Cranston's storyline, and then these tremors and everything and what's going on. And it's like, I thought that was Godzilla. I thought that was the beginning of Godzilla.
Yeah.
And then...
Because here's the thing, the original...
Then we're where you were talking about.
Yeah, the original Godzilla was... Godzilla was a villain.
Yeah.
Like the 1950s one, and then what happened over the course of all the films is Godzilla becomes the savior of humanity, which is what, if you're a Godzilla fan, if you can ignore some of the stuff, I think you would really enjoy this, because it does capture all the essence of Godzilla, where, like, he's the savior, and, like, these monsters are coming, destroying everything, but then what happened? Oh, God, you scared me.
Sorry. All of a sudden, I saw something floating in my face, and I looked at it, I made a face, and you freaked out.
I thought I was going to look behind me, and there was, like, a tarantula about to leap on my face.
There was a mosquito hovering right in here. I just killed him. Anyway.
Yes. So Godzilla is the savior, and, shit. Oh, I wanted to ask you, did you like how they did, like, the explanations of the monsters, how they feed off radiation, stuff like that?
I mean, I thought, I mean, it made sense. I thought it was okay. I mean, it was...
For, like,
I bought it. It seemed plausible for this movie.
Yeah, for
you know
movie
what I mean?
logic,
Yeah.
I thought they did it very well.
Yeah. It
It's
wasn't,
not-
like, too in-your-face stupid. You know what I mean?
It's stupid,
Yeah.
but I buy into it in this universe, and especially I hope they make more, because if they're going to start doing monsters like King Ghidorah, which is basically a space alien,
Space Godzilla, isn't
which
it?
I want them to do, because why not? It's Godzilla. Because the second Godzilla breathed fire,
right.
I was like, oh, okay.
I was wondering. What's funny is I was wondering if they were going to have him like shoot the beam out of his mouth or something,
because
and they ended up doing it, which I enjoyed.
The travesty that is Godzilla with Matthew Broderick, or I think it was 99 or
I think so, 98 or 99.
You think they set that preliminary scene?
They may have on purpose.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Roland Emmerich.
Well, the Japanese, they made a Godzilla movie where Godzilla kills that version of Godzilla.
Wow.
Yeah, that's in a movie, and he blows the fire, just destroy. I think he
That's
does
awesome.
it in Sydney, Australia. He just throws him into the opera house. I'm not joking.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh God, that movie was so bad. And in that movie, not only did they completely change the way Godzilla looks, they took away. I remember there was one shot where he like screams at a car and the car explodes. So I guess you can say, oh, that's kind of fire breath. I'm like, no, that's not fire breath. But in this movie, they fucking did it. And I was.
He charges up. You can see
Yes,
in his.
that's the thing in the movies. It starts from his tail, it goes up his spine. Those things hold his energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I hope they do that, because in the beginning of the movie, as this giant claw sticking out of the ground, you see the pulsating thing. And I was like, okay, that's kind of...
Which they established... So they already established the plausibility of that happening, too. It doesn't really come... all of a sudden it happens. They don't indicate anything like Godzilla is able to do anything like that, but they do indicate that the other creatures have these, like the EMP blast. So you know that they're capable of these kind of things.
Yeah.
And then the whole premise is... you know what it is, too? I didn't mind that they talked about how the radiation business with... like for food, basically, for energy, because... the whole point is that originally in the Godzilla, these things were the product of radiation because of the atomic bombs in Japan. That's what started the whole Godzilla thing anyway.
Yeah. So here
the
they
original
changed
Godzilla.
that.
So here they just altered it like they were ancient beasts that have already been in existence. And what happened was... like all the atomic testing that was that the governments were doing was actually trying to destroy
like 10
it.
times more radioactive.
Yeah.
So the world developed this creature that evolved to like feed off that radiation. Then as that radiation went down, they started
going towards the center of the earth
to get
more.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Is that true? Is that based on? I'm sure it is, I guess. But
fact now. It's out there. Now it's out there.
I'll buy the plausibility of that. First of all, in that universe, I buy it. Okay.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Also, one thing, too, I was thinking when I watched the movie, they don't... I was like, do they have monster movies in this universe? And they do, because there were posters around of, like, monsters attacking stuff that looked very similar
in the kids'
to
room.
Godzilla and the other creatures
there was
in the
like
kids' room.
A poster of, like, some kaiju, and it looked very similar.
I was surprised by that, because I was, I assumed because this is a movie about Godzilla that there wouldn't be any Godzilla-like movie.
Yeah, that's like in a zombie movie, you never see people talking about, oh, this reminds me of this zombie movie.
Oh, it's just like, that movie with
this is
Woody
just like
Harrelson.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, my favorite show and comic book series.
Oh, God.
I know how to handle this situation. I saw Rick Grimes take care of this exact problem.
Vin Raines.
Yeah.
Give him a shotgun.
Give him a shotgun.
And everything's going to work out.
Give him a cool earring and some badass one-liners. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. But yeah, so then there's an accident at the power plant, and basically when they get there, Bryan Cranston sends his wife right down to like the 5th level because just to investigate what's going on before.
He said, "Get your group 5 or something together and go down there immediately, and then I'll tell you what to do."
And so then everything starts to go to hell because this one creature that left its cocoon in the Philippines made its way to Japan, and because it was attracted to the radiation of the nuclear power plant, that was the closest source.
Many
so
shots
then
in
it
this
fucks
movie
everything
of
up.
the monsters picking up like nuclear missiles,
just eating it.
There's one part with a nuclear sub that
was cool.
It got, and it was eating it out of that.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say is like every child in this film apparently immediately recognizes Godzilla as like a savior.
They're very calm when they're watching.
They're all calm.
Godzilla.
It's very creepy. There was like the little girl in Hawaii.
Yeah.
There's the little Japanese kid.
The son, the main character's
they're all
son,
just
watching it
kinda
on
like-
television. Watching.
They just stare off into the distance, going, "This feels right.
Yeah.
This is the new way."
You know what, Mom? We're gonna be okay.
It's like, okay. But I think that's also because a lot of kids are going to see this movie. Because I grew up watching Godzilla like all the time. It was always on...
Channel 11.
Yeah, something like that. It was always like every other Saturday or Sunday there was a Godzilla movie. I was like, oh shit. And I would sit there and watch. And they're stupid, but when you grow up with it, you
I
look
remember
forward
the
to stuff
one
like
where it's like the twins. I think that's a Mothra one.
that. Oh, yeah.
From the island.
They
Yeah.
live in a little box.
And there's another one that's like, Godzilla Jr. With there's one where it's Godzilla's
if
kid,
you're just
right?
Gonna point out the stupidest stuff.
Well, those are the ones I remember. They didn't get there yet.
You gotta watch King Ghidorah ones, and
I'll have to watch that.
him and Gamera. I think that's the turtle guy. I think.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main character, Bryan Cranston, dies.
He's got a son.
Leaving the son as the lead. I don't think you like the son.
I did not like this guy.
Okay.
I just didn't think I didn't think he did a good job. You know what I mean? I think I built this movie up for myself too much. That was my problem. I was too excited for it, and it just wasn't it lacked the intensity that I thought it was going to have based on that preview. And I understand what your point is, because if you're a fan of Godzilla movies, you will like this, because it definitely has that kind of feeling a lot of times. To hearkening back to the original Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
But I was expecting like something really like serious and dark and intense and emotionally powerful. It's set in this Godzilla movie, because I'm really waiting for a monster movie, basically like one of these gigantic, city destroying like Godzilla like movie. That is super emotionally powerful, that like affects me on an emotional level.
Right. You wanted like I know what you mean. Like, what would this really mean? And also, but see,
and like the intensity. Like,
I almost feel like that's what they were trying to do a little bit, because there's so much.
They
of
failed.
I felt the human element.
Yeah,
is so there is so many stories going on with the people.
Yeah,
I was surprised, and there's what annoyed me is like there's a lot of times with the monsters. Everything's like a huge buildup. There's like 3 or 4 parts in this movie where you think they're building up, and you're finally going to see that big fight.
Yeah,
the big fight. There is a big fight, but you get it in chunks here and there,
right?
And then you get a big portion of it at the end.
Before that, you see like in the background, like you see like you see Godzilla fighting one of the
I'm almost
Mothra or what's the other one that you said that it was like reminded you of Gadarian or Rodan, yeah. You see him fighting the creature as the doors close to the shelter.
Yes.
You see it like in the background on a television right before an EMP blast knocks the TV out, and it always says something ridiculous on the TV like Honolulu in ruins.
I know.
Monster invasion.
We were joking as we were leaving the theater. It was like, who's the guy at the news studio, who's still typing out these like the little banners or something for the news station?
Yeah.
Like,
and then like
his job.
And then to jump at the end when they're talking about that, like you see people are like in their in the shelter, everything's like recovering. Godzilla is leaving, and then people are like, cheering.
Well, that's taken.
And
I'm
then
telling you, if you watch Godzilla movies, that's what happens at the end of a lot of movies. You see the humanity is there, standing in awe of Godzilla, who's now leaving, and it's like, oh, he's going to rest, but he'll be back. It's like Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, exactly.
It's like Goku.
He will come again when we need him.
Yes, when there's some super villain who's going to threaten the entire Earth. That's exactly what it is. A lot of Japanese like fiction, I feel, has that story of like some ultimate savior who has to fight the ultimate threat, and everyone else just standing by like, oh god, this is horrible. But at the end, the good guy wins, and you think he's dead for a while, but then he comes back.
Yep.
And then he leaves to rest, and then he'll be back to save us again one day.
Yeah. So he's like, you goddamn humans. But then on the TV when he's leaving, it's just like Godzilla, God of monsters, savior ?
That was
I was like,
dumb.
oh my god, that like kind of ruined that moment.
God of monsters.
Savior ?
Oh wait, this is exactly like that movie Godzilla. Who was the God of monsters?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm such a good producer. Oh man, the
main character.
So the main character, I don't know. I just this kid, I just thought it was a bad cast. He didn't have the chops to pull it off. I felt like he was just kind of stale and flat to me. His performance.
There was a Tony Maguire quality there.
Tobey Maguire.
Tony Maguire, my neighbor.
You guys don't know him, but he's a terrible actor.
No, Tobey the Maguire.
Tony
there was
Maguire.
something there. But he was a little like subdued.
There's kind of like I felt nothing from his performance. Bryan Cranston's like pouring his heart out on the screen there. He's lost his wife. He's the frustration that he knows what's going on. He knows that something's being hidden, and no one believes him, and no one will give him answers.
They think he's crazy.
Yeah, but you could see the frustration. I felt like his frustration in that performance. It was very, very good. Then this guy's he just annoyed me, and he was just I got nothing from him.
Apparently, the fruit does fall far from the tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
the acting tree. Ugh. And then his wife, I was like, this girl is like 20 years old. How does she have a 5-year-old son?
Yeah. Well,
What?
I don't know. I told you on the ride home. I was like, "Is this Scarlett Johansson?" And you're like, "No, definitely
no.
not."
I would have been like, "Oh, she was awesome.
I don't
so
know.
hot." This girl was like, I don't know. I just was like, she's too young to have this. This is not her. I didn't believe her son. I would believed it more like she's his sister, his older sister. You know what I mean? They all seemed like siblings to me. And then I was like, wait, are they together? Are they madly in love with each other? Because he's like, I just want to tell you that I do love you when he's on the phone with her. Which again, I was like, yeah, why wouldn't she know that? You're supposed to be...
And the way
your relationship is fine. There's no indication that you don't love each other.
Yeah, and the way he hung up the phone there, it kind of seemed like he was like, whatever, bitch.
Yeah, it was more like they're a divorced couple, and he's checking in on the son.
You get the check.
You missed his birthday. Whatever. I sent the present in the mail. It's all this kind of shit. It was so weird. I was so confused by that, and then I don't know. Then they kept cutting to her and what was happening to her. I felt like that was pointless. I felt like they didn't need to do that at all. Like, they just, in passing, say, because the son... So when Godzilla and the other things are having their fight in San Francisco...
Yes.
The main
where are the
characters...
locations of these fights? First the first monster emerges in
Tokyo. Or not in Tokyo, but in Japan.
In Japan,
Yeah.
in the town where they lived. And then there's a Tokyo
then
scene.
Hawaii... and they also seem to be exactly where this guy's going every time.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Well, it's a movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It's like, it's so random.
Right.
Oh, it's like, all right, well, we're going to send you out from Japan because he went to visit Bryan Cranston when everything went down to try and bring him back, but he dies. And then he's like, all right, we're sending you back to... San Francisco to your home, but you're going to stop over in Honolulu, catch a commercial flight from there. Okay, fine. Sir, we're receiving reports that the monsters are moving into the North Pacific by Hawaii. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. And then that's right where he is. Then it's like, oh, now they're going to San Francisco. Where this guy lives.
I mean, if they start in Japan,
I know, but it's just
and they're water based. Like
it's just too much of a coincidence,
right?
Did
we mention that who's a Japanese actor? The
Ken Watanabe.
Yes,
who I love that actor, but he did a lot of
that actor, but in this
dramatic
film,
staring,
he was in a constant state of, oh my god, like just staring ahead.
Right from the first shot you see him in.
Yes, he's constantly just in shock, or he's constantly contemplating, and he's in awe.
I think he's just really depressed because you see the first shot you see him and he's holding this pocket watch and he's staring at it and he looks very sad, and you see his science partner companion there, that woman, the British woman, looking at him like, yeah, he's not in a good place right now. And then they have everything that happens in the Philippines. 15 years later, all the new stuff that's now going on with Godzilla and the other monsters. And he's always the same, always like upset, always like, oh no, or like, oh my god, always looking into, I have to see. And then he looks at the watch again, and then when they're talking about the nukes,
yes,
with the admiral, he's like, hey, look at this watch. And then he's saying, don't use the nukes. And then he's like, oh, the watch stopped at 8:15. Or whatever the time was, and he's like, yes, August 6th, 1945. Yeah. And the other guy's like, oh shit, Hiroshima. Yeah. And then Ken Watanabe just leaves.
There's moments
and
like
I've been
that.
Like, yeah, that's right. Fuck you.
There's moments like that in movies where they spell it out so much of the audience where I just feel like, look, I'm not, yeah.
Right, like the audience, you're a bunch of, here, dumbasses.
Yeah, like I know.
You can't figure it out, so I'm going to tell you.
Like, just read a history book, people, so they don't have to do this stupid parts of movies.
But then they never really explain that. He's like, it was my father's watch. So I don't understand. Is that something that drives you? What is the point of that here?
I think he keeps
He's
it
just saying just don't use nukes because
he keeps it as
my
a
dad
reminder.
died in Hiroshima?
Yeah. You shouldn't use nukes, man.
Well, they ignored that.
You ever see that graph online? It's actually from a Japanese artist. It shows a little blip every time we tested a nuke or every time a nuclear bomb goes off.
Oh, wow.
Like, how many do you think we've ever done?
Oh, I don't know. A lot. Probably.
It's like hundreds.
Yeah, I would imagine. I was going to say at least 100.
And then you get to I remember there's one part of this map where it's all animated, and it's just little bloops with sounds. And then you get to this one decade, and it's like, boop, 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 like all these countries just testing.
Oh, these other countries?
Yeah, even France, India.
India, Pakistan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's scary stuff.
That's scary.
It's going to lead to Godzilla. This movie is a warning. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they've been
Well, not
warning.
this movie.
They've been warning us for decades.
Yeah, this movie
these
is not a
Godzilla
warning.
movies.
This movie is just saying.
This movie is more of a celebration, if you ask me.
Oh, one
because
shot-
we love the creature that was created because of atomic energy.
But they weren't created by atomic energy. They just feed off of it.
Well, the original one was.
Yes, the original.
Yeah.
One shot I loved in this movie is the very opening shot where you see that mine and you see all the people working in that mine.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone looks like ants. I
Yeah.
thought that was definitely there were
That's
a
good.
few smart. Here's the thing: there's some stupid stuff in here, but I felt there was a lot of smart stuff too.
Yeah.
And and also he has that great line where he's saying like, let them fight. Like nature has a way of balancing itself.
Yeah, we're kidding ourselves if we
Yeah.
think we have control over anything like
Just
this.
everyone stand back.
Yeah.
which is what you're supposed to do, and just watch it play out.
Yeah, and then it wasn't awesome. Well, the other thing that I thought that there was another, there were some like that stuff was really good. There were just a few lines and like those things from the newscast that we talked about. But then there was another line that I hated where the guy was like,
Oh man, you mean Sergeant Catchphrase?
yes,
Remember that
yes,
guy?
yes, exactly. Sergeant
guy-
one-liner.
yeah, every
What's going on? Oh, we're heading east. Every able-bodied soldier's heading east. That's where these things are going. Yeah. Guess we're monster hunters now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever play that game on the Wii?
Yeah.
It's great. Takes
it's
a
like,
licking, keeps on ticking.
It's like, all right, soldiers, listen up. I want you over there. And then, Able Company is going this way. Is that where the monsters are, sir? That's right. And then he goes even like a Game of Thrones. He's like, stick him with the pointy end, right,
Yeah.
sir? And I was like, what? So you just ripped that off from
This
Game
guy-
of Thrones?
Like he's just constantly watching TV shows and
I picked
reading
a
stuff.
bad day to quit drinking. You might as well have started saying that stuff.
Gillette, the best a man can get. Like what?
Good close shave America.
Yeah,
close
there's some
shave
parts in there
Barbasol.
where. How does Godzilla kill these other monsters?
Well,
There's a big, huge fight. We're talking
pretty
a lot
epic
about
fight.
We should talk more about Godzilla.
all right, so Godzilla. First of all, I thought the Godzilla and the creatures and the special effects they did look fantastic.
Yeah, they
You
made
can't fault that.
they made Godzilla look like the old Godzilla. There's even parts where Godzilla's swinging his arms, and you can
Yeah.
tell like a guy was studying how like the guy in the old costume was
Yeah.
moving because he definitely, and also like the way he wobbles sometimes.
Yeah.
There's little touches like that where when you watch those films and you notice that it's like, oh, okay, someone doing the special effects like was a fan.
They cared.
Yeah, they cared.
And it
about
was the same people that did the monsters here that did the monsters, the kaiju, and the whatever the Jaegers
Pacific Rim?
in Pacific Rim. Yeah.
Is that good? I haven't seen
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was awesome stuff. And then the fight scenes were great between Godzilla and the other monsters. And then and then Godzilla smashes his tail. He's losing these fights. He's not doing too good. And then he all of a sudden the flying one is coming in on him.
male,
He whips
the
his
smaller
tail. Yeah,
one.
he whips his tail around and like smashes him into a building. And his the spikes on his tail.
And then, like, parts of the-
shred him open and like you
And
can
parts
see
of the
like,
building are like impaled in the monster.
Yeah.
So that's how he's dead.
Yeah, and you can see like one of the monsters like arm things fall off and everything, and you see so it's dead. But then the mother lives. Oh, and also during this, what they cut in between these fight scenes is the soldiers moving to the nest that these monsters have created because they had mated, and
Yes.
and the
You got that
female
great
laid all
scene
these
of
eggs.
The female monster with her undulating thorax pumping out them eggs.
Yeah, ugh, gross. And then
What do you think of that, kid?
They wrap it
What's
around.
she doing? Shut up. But let me answer your question.
Yeah, stop it. But she's having sex. The guy kept going, stop it. Bryan Cranston's dead. Or he's dead. Yeah, stop it. Godzilla's tired.
You can tell the kid. Oh, God. Yes. And the soldiers are moving in the pit.
Yeah, so then you see they get to the nuclear bomb because they have to disarm it now because they were trying to lure the monsters away from the city with this analog timed bomb because the EMP the monsters give off would, be pointless for their mission. And then, but now they have now they have to stop the bomb from exploding because the monsters got it and they've wrapped
And
their
she
eggs
laid all
around
her
it.
eggs, to, I guess, take the energy. Or
Yeah,
I guess when
exactly.
the things hatch, they're going to eat it or something.
Yeah, it's all to like help them, grow and eat and everything. And then so their mission is to Halo jump in and stop all that. Meanwhile, Godzilla's fighting these monsters.
One of the best. That's the best set piece. That's why they showed that in the trailer. That's the coolest part.
with a Halo jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
That and yeah.
And so anyway, what happens is they get the bomb out. And then the
the
main
bomb
character is like, wait, hold on a second, we're not done here. And he stays behind on his own without saying anything to anybody about this. So I didn't understand that either. And then he basically
knocks open like
fills one of the train compartment that's there. Or a trolley car that's there, or something.
I think it was a big truck filled with gasoline.
Oh,
He
okay.
hits the valve and it starts leaking out. And there's, I guess he noticed there was a little match lit over there. So
There were some fires burning there.
inevitably it's gonna go off.
So he kills all the babies, and then the mother's like, "No, my babies!" and then goes back to the nest. Meanwhile, Godzilla is, and that kind of saves Godzilla because he was losing. They were they were double teaming him,
Right.
And then it's just the one-on-one with the male. Godzilla takes the male out.
That's the other thing I liked. In the old movies, Godzilla gets the shit beat out of him constantly.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it works out.
That's basically exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because then the female they're trying to get the bomb on the boat to get it away from the city by the pier, and then the female comes, stops that, starts killing everybody. Then Godzilla reappears suddenly, and he already had shown he was using his fire beam or whatever it was,
Yes.
that blue beam against the male. Then he basically finally he gets the female. This was awesome. I thought he was gonna rip it like
Yes.
King Kong against the T-Rex kind of thing.
That's a callback to the original King Kong, where the claymation Ray Harryhausen stuff.
Yeah.
Where he just took the T-Rex head he did, and then Peter Jackson did it in the other King Kong.
Yeah.
He was like, and then he
Ugh.
took it to another level where he crushed it.
Squishes it down. Ugh.
And then here, it looked like they were going to do something similar, but then they took it to another level, which is like he basically like vomits fire down her throat.
Yeah, and then the head falls off.
Yes.
That was awesome. And then he's like, "Yeah, I did it."
What do you think of the roars?
Oh, the roars were great because it was the classic roar. And my favorite one was when this fight is going to begin, really, and the city between Godzilla and these monsters, and Godzilla comes up, and they're like in Chinatown.
Yes.
All this, and it's like this really long, like extended roar. That was really cool. That was one of my favorite moments too. But anyway, then the bomb, Godzilla saves the day, and the bomb goes off at a safe distance, I guess. Even though they made it seem like this nuclear bomb is like the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, he said it makes what happened at Hiroshima look like a firecracker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of mean to say to the Japanese guy.
Yeah, that's true. It's like Hiroshima, bunch of pussies. I'm glad that happened, but that was nothing.
Whoa, careful.
This will take out the whole stupid country. Jeez, man. Take it easy.
But in his defense, those were actually pretty small bombs. Now,
Yeah.
like I think the Russians have like the Tsar bomb, I think it's called, which you could take out like the east coast of the United States if you set it off.
Awesome.
Looking forward to that.
Putin's in there. Putin's got control of that one. But yeah, so I mean that's and then everybody finds each other. It's kind of a happy ending.
Yeah, they find each other, and Godzilla walks off into the sea to return another day. And now I'm just curious how. I'm gonna look it up. I guarantee they based these two monsters. They took elements of Mothra, and then they added that one could fly. So that's kind of like Rodan.
Yeah.
But I want to see, because I would love to see like King Ghidorah. That's the 3-headed one.
Oh yeah.
And he has like the two giant wings. He was hatched from like an egg that fell from space or something. I'm really wondering if they're ever gonna do. If this is popular and it makes enough money, how far down the line they would go? Because I want to see like Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would make.
Who's
that.
making that? Who's building that? What government?
Find make it work. I just want to see that. Yeah. No, I liked it. I would see it again. I would like you said, I want to see it alone. And,
without some annoying kid questioning everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, I liked it. I just was disappointed, and I thought it was going to be. I was expecting something different, I think. But so were you. But you were expecting something bad, and I was expecting something I was just expecting a different kind of movie. That's all.
I avoided all the trailers except for the first two. Then there was that one clip I showed you, 40 seconds, where you see Godzilla.
Yeah.
But everything else I tried to avoid. I avoided reviews and everything. I didn't want to hear anything. And I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be really stupid. Because, summertime and these blockbuster movies are going to come out. But yeah, I liked it.
All right.
I liked it. And I think if I see it again, I might like it even more.
I wonder what Boss would think.
It's kind of boring. I don't like it.
So stupid.
Thought it was stupid. You like that?
This movie got 3 yawns from me.
Yawns.
Yeah.
Which still sounds like some kind of Asian currency to me.
This is 12 yawns, please.
Oh, God, 40 yawns.
What am I, made of yawns?
All right. Well, any final thoughts? I think we said our piece.
Summed it up, yeah.
Go see it. I try and see it when no one else is there.
Try and see it when children aren't around because they'll just be confused.
Yeah, I was annoyed actually when we first walked in because we went there
crowded.
on Sunday morning and it was actually like packed.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. So
anyway. All right. Goodbye.
I'm Oxnard.
I'm Dexter.
Goodbye.